everybody.
Hey.
All right, to honor all of your time, let's get started. Other people can hop on. And we're really glad that you could join us tonight. Welcome to this presentation, an interview with Dr. Carol, presented by the IAMT. Dr. Carol is the IAMT's diamond sponsor. She and Medithorn Thermal Imaging.
Did I get jewelry for that?
Sure. You get all the recognition, love, and honors and praise that the IMT can ever bestow.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah,
that's even better.
So we are so glad that she could be here tonight, and we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the history of Dr. Carol. So let me go ahead and formally introduce her, but I'm going to let her tell most of her story. So Dr. Carol is a doctor of Oriental medicine and began her thermography journey over 20 years ago with the intent of treating her patients for pain. And being able to visualize her patients' inflammation using infrared technology helped her more accurately treat and monitor her patients. But she was not happy with the technology she was using, so she created a better imaging system and training for new thermographers to be the most professional, efficient thermographers in the world. And for the past 20 years, Dr. Carol has not only been helping her patients optimize their health using medical thermography as a tool, she's also been helping thermographers build businesses and provide professional imaging. And with that goal in mind, 15 years ago, she founded the IAMT and paved the way for all of us to keep on learning and growing in their businesses. This is service to the worldwide thermography community, and it has earned her the most prestigious title in the entire world, the mother of modern day thermography. And it is well deserved. She's made her
hail to the queen.
Woohoo! She's made her powerful mark on this industry and the community, and I think most thermographers agree that we would not be here without her. So please welcome the amazing Dr. Carol Chandler. Woo!
Hey, thank you. Kristin always gives me these great introductions.
Oh man, all from the heart.
Yes.
So welcome, Dr. Carol. We are so grateful, especially the IAMT, because you founded us many years ago, and we want to hear all about that story. I want to hear about your journey too that led you to medical thermography, because it's an interesting journey. It doesn't follow a straight line. I think it started with a car dealership.
Yeah, well, my background.
Oh, that's related.
Yeah, that's related. Well, there is a relationship there, so to speak. So my background actually was in accounting, banking, and real estate. So I, was looking for my lifetime profession, and trying to make some money and, learn something new. So I ended up in the automobile business, which was very lucrative for me financially. And in another way, I was working at this car dealership, Volkswagen Mazda store in Fort Lauderdale. And that's where I met my husband, David, who is also your sufficient insight guru. Mm-hmm. And so we both happened to be single. And so long story short, we finally got married after a long time.
Long courtship.
Yeah, long courtship. And because I wasn't sure, I had been divorced, so So what happened was that I've been working in the dealership for a long time, and I wasn't getting it for me. I didn't feel like I was really doing anything for the universe, maybe just making some money. So so I ended up going to acupuncture school. Somebody introduced me, and so I got my doctor of Oriental medicine, changed my life, as you can imagine. And we after about Kristin, do you have the picture of my practice?
I do. This is an awesome picture.
This was back in, there I am. I'm like 50 years young there.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And those are all my herbs. So I did the traditional thing, and we cooked the herbs. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. That can be very interesting. And you can see all the little the patent medicines there in the case. And I was into it. I was all about the traditional Chinese medicine.
Wow.
And then I was introduced to thermography about 4 years into my practice. And I had hired about 4 or 5 of the students that had been in school with me. And so, I came from the business background. So my head was business. And so I just jumped right into it. And so in Chinese medicine, you can take it down now, Kristin.
Okay. You look so pretty there.
Thank you. So yeah, I had to recall here.
Sure.
So in Chinese medicine, we look at the body differently. And so we're looking at the yin and the yang and the qi and the hot and cold. Okay. And so our method of diagnosing and treating was based on those principles. Well, when I saw, now the hot and cold thing was a theory. Okay, so you know how a theory is, you just kind of have to believe it and go with what they teach you and how, how that works. And so we would go by symptoms to determine if somebody was hot or cold. So there was a whole I don't know, mindset around that. Well, so here I am, somebody tells me about thermography and I'm going, what the heck is thermography? And so the first time I saw it, here's this camera. Now this is an old camera. It's a 160 by 120 array camera. So it's really poor resolution, but that was 20 years ago. And so when I saw that, I immediately knew what I was looking at, because yeah, red is hot and the blue was cold and the green was neutral. I was like amazed, out of my mind. I said, I can't believe now I can see what I'm supposed to be, just believing. And so now I said, I have to have this thing. So it was $25,000. I had no money. I was a poor acupuncturist, So I did something I never did in my whole life. And I'm 55 by now, right? And I called my parents and asked them if they loaned me the $25,000. And I got my camera, and that's where it all started. Wow. And so I was with a company called Medithorn. We didn't have Google yet much.
I remember those guys.
And so, I didn't have much research, so I just went with them. And so I was teaching, and I got real involved. And so, long story short, and then about in 2005, I decided, I think I could do this better. I'm kind of, if you know me, I'm kind of more of a leader than a follower. So I kind of like to be in charge. So I was like, I could do this better. And so
didn't you actually sell cameras for Medithorn for a few years to your colleagues?
I sold the cameras, and I trained the people, and I was doing the whole thing. I said, well, I know how to do this,
Isn't that what made it possible for them to move from Australia or something like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, they did. Yeah, I was taking care of it over here.
Wow. See?
So
amazing.
Yeah. So then, so about that time, well, I moved to Lakeland. I mean, I think everybody here has been, except Missy, of course, has been here to Lakeland and saw our practice and our training and all that. And we moved to Lakeland because we were in Fort Lauderdale, and we wanted to go someplace else, and I had to stay in Florida to keep my license. So we moved here, and the interesting thing is there was a little magazine that I put an advertisement in, and I got a phone call from Dr. Robinson's office. And Dr. Robinson is the only halfway holistic doctor. He was traditional, but And he called, his secretary called and said, Dr. Robinson wants to meet you. And so he says to me, I cannot even believe somebody in Lakeland, Florida has a thermography camera. He goes, I am the only doctor that's going to refer to you in this town. And pretty much that was the truth. But he built my practice.
Wow.
When they come in, I'd say, how did you hear about it? I said, oh, I told Dr. Robinson it was time for a mammogram. And he said, you're going to go see Carol. I like it like that. So
he could say that.
Yeah, he could say that. Yeah, people just loved him. They did whatever he said. So you need to find somebody like that. Okay. So he actually built my business, because this is a little town, right? Kristin, this is like not a metropolis here.
Right.
So now when I moved here, I had already been working on a formula. Now I remember I'm an herbalist, I'm Chinese medicine, and I was looking for a formula to give my patients to resolve internal fire. And so I was looking for a formula. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I needed it to do. And so I couldn't find anything. So finally I said, I've been trained to do this, Carol, make your own formula. So I researched and I, tried it out and came up with this fabulous formula about 20 years ago. And I've been selling it ever since. It's called Resolve Internal Fire. And so I was making it in capsules. I was mixing the herbs myself, and selling them and putting them in capsules myself. And oh my gosh. So finally I got somebody to do that for me. And so I'm still selling it. And people that, and amazing results. People that buy it, always buy it again, because they like the way they feel. We see the results because it helps with the inflammation. And so anyway, those are available. I make it available to whoever wants it. So
we have it on IAMT.
Yeah.
You can buy it with your membership at a discount. And Dr. Carol, being our diamond sponsor, has chosen to promote this particular product, which when I worked for Dr. Carol, it was amazing to watch the befores and afters. Mm-hmm. And so here's a list of everything that's in it. Do you feel the need to point out any of these ingredients, Dr.
No, I think it's the things everybody knows about, the ginger, the turmeric. I mean, everybody knows about those now. 20 years ago, I was using them. But anyway, it's, and I put flowers in it. So the flowers makes it come upwards. So it helps a lot with inflammation in the head and the breast and the chest and all that. So, but it's really good too for bowel problems, anything that's inflammatory. It's just, I'm really proud of the formula, but let's move on. Okay.
Okay. Well, wait a second. I definitely want to tell everybody, as of probably tomorrow before noon, we're going to have a sale on Resolve Internal Fire. So y'all will get a MailChimp on this, as well as a newsletter, as well as you'll find that we have special pricing because of this presentation. So I wanted to make sure you looked for that, because this is an incredible product.
I'll go up to the, there was a picture there of a before and after.
Yeah.
This was one of my clients. So what I typically do is if I see a lot of inflammation, I'll have them take it for a couple of weeks. I think there was only 3 weeks difference between these two pictures. And so I have them come in just so I can see if it's working well. And they're all like, oh my, they're always just so amazed at how it works. So we don't have to go by how you feel. Now we have a way to tell that we've improved the situation. Inflammation is the biggest problem, that, right? The inflammation isn't itself a disease. And with thermography, we have the opportunity to see that, like, as you know, no other.
Powerful before and afters here, very powerful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see that. Okay, let's get rid of that.
Okay. So we left off.
Wait, so can I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hi. I've also ordered the liquid version of this. Would you talk about that as well?
Well, the liquid is, I love the liquid myself. I prefer liquid. It's easy to take. You just put it in a little bit of water and you drink it. It's the same formula. It's just in a liquid form.
What's the suggested dosage?
3 dropperfuls and some water. And when you're treating somebody initially, I do a full dosage, which is three of those 3 times a day. But once they're on maintenance, I can do it, once a day.
Okay, same thing with the capsules, Carol?
Yeah.
So we're back to you coming to Lakeland, and you launched the Natural Medicine Center.
Right.
And Dr. Robinson, who I knew very well as well, he's gone now. He gave you a lot of your business. And I remember when I started working for you in 2012, he was, gosh, I would say 50% of our appointments as well.
Yeah.
Great guy, wonderful guy. So you launched the Natural Medicine Center, and you started inventing a better system, that you, tell us about that.
Well, it took me a while. Right now, we sell the FLIR cameras now. And it took me a while. I went through a few cameras. I have some experience in this field. I've been through all of them. And so we ended up with FLIR. And the first thing we had to do, however, was I left Medithorn, and I needed somebody to do my interpretations because I didn't know how to do that. So I found somebody to help us, and we kind of limped along for a little bit, and then some other people came with me. So what we had to do was set up the physician's insight for the interpretation. You got to have that. And so we in 2007 we launched the beginning of the first version of Physician's Insight. Before that, we were just using some kind of a application where you could just deposit information. And so it was a very simple thing. So we evolved. And the hard part is finding a software developer that could do this. It's very involved, and unless they understand, really what you need. So we spent a lot of money giving people deposits, $5,000 deposits, and then they found out they didn't know what they were talking about. So anyway, we finally did get the person we needed. I found somebody to make the software that I wanted because I knew what I didn't want. Okay, I had a lot of experience with what I didn't want because I'm a thermographer myself. So I needed it to work for me. So I didn't have to work so hard. And anyway, I knew very well what I wanted, and so now I had the guy, and Scott is still with me, been with me since 2009, and we work together really, really well. And so he's done a beautiful job on our software. So nobody's developed the thermography software to the extent that we have.
What makes it so special?
Well, part of it is the ease of use. I think everybody can agree. Anybody that used anything else would know that. I think all of you, though. I think all of you just started with us. So, but the interpretation, you mean the capture software?
Yes.
Oh, so I built in things to help, with the positioning, as you know, we have our overlays, and all the features that make it easy to print things. And oh my gosh, the manual is 100 and something pages long. I can't think of all of them, but anyway, it was a dream project for me, and I'm so proud of it, and I hope you are too.
Oh, absolutely. How did you set up that relationship with FLIR? Because FLIR is a big player.
I called them up, and I guess my reputation preceded me, and they were thrilled. It's like, yeah, we want you. And somebody came over from Orlando like that week, and they signed me up. They knew I could sell cameras. So they wanted it to be theirs. And so it's been a great relationship. What I like about them is they're very professional. They've treated me well and with respect. And I didn't always have that with some of the others I worked with. So I like working with the grown-ups. So that's what they're like. They're like the grown-ups. So then the
grown-ups are good.
Yeah. So let me see, also Physician's Insight is I used to do everything. Okay, I worked the physician's insight. And so finally I said to my husband, who thought he was retired, listen, you got to do this. I can't do this anymore. So he took over the physician's insight. He, he's fastidious, and we share all you guys. So we don't always see eye to eye, but that's the way that goes. I think so. But I usually get my way.
And you ended up bringing on a lot of interpreting physicians, more than I've seen in any one interpretation service. How did you do that?
We had to. We have a lot of users, and so what we do is we're not adding anybody now because, of course, we have more. Business is down because of the coronavirus, but we put them through, and I developed the interpretation service and the interpretation software. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the interpretation software if you have time. I'm going to show you how that works. So you kind of have an insight into what goes on in the background with the interpretations. And so I developed it to make it so that everybody is saying a similar things, same. So the format is similar, no matter who does your interpretation. And then the interpreter has the opportunity to add their own, comments or whatever they want to personalize it as much as possible. So
do you need to share that screen? I think I gave you.
Yeah, I think I can share the screen. Let me see if I can bring this up. There we go. All right. And let me bring up this another one too. Let's see. All right, so I wanted to, this is a
too cold sample.
The too cold, yeah. Where'd the other one go? Come on. Okay, so there's a too cold sample, because I wanted to kind of show you. One of the things that we were going to talk about was, what can you do to help us? And so it's the same old thing. Everybody that had training, it's a frame focused color. Kristin knows it like the back of her hand. And the framing, of course, we use the overlays to get them in there. And the focusing, of course, is automated. We call it automated. And so, but the color is always the most challenging. So this actually just came in. You can see the date on it is January 23rd. And so I thought, well, I'll use this one. It was a pretty good one. So this is the way it actually came in to me. Okay. So when we do the interpretation, look at the one on the left. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it a little warmer. So when this is like, okay, this is not saying too much. I feel like if it's all blue and green, it might as well be black and white. Doesn't mean that much to people. So when I start to warm it up, I start to see these patterns. You see? Now this is a totally different view than this one, but this is the way I'm going to interpret it. So when I'm describing all of these patterns that I see, and some of them I'm very concerned about, then the person that's looking at the images on their report are not going to see them. You see, so what are you talking about? I don't see that, right? So we want the report to be meaningful to the client. And as a matter of fact, the way we save it is for them. You don't have to save it for us, because as you can see, we can adjust it. But it's going to be on the report the way that you save it. So, when we go over here, let's go to this one. And this one, when you're looking at, that's what I wanted, that's this one. Okay, so you see, this is a pattern I'm very concerned about. I'm very concerned about the intensity of this one and this one as well. So I'm going to be calling these. He's going to mention these in the report. And so you see how important it is.
Carol,
Yeah.
could you just, the views that you're concerned with, you've got within the bottom area, we've got the anterior, the two laterals, and the two obliques. And when you said you're concerned about the pattern here and the pattern there, would you please at least tell us which views you're concerned with?
The views that where we do the interpretation, the views that we use are these, the oblique views. So when we do we're looking at this one, we have, I'm going to show you some about the interpretation software, okay? I'm going to show you how this looks. This is what we
So
work
what
with.
do
Can you see this?
We
Little
can,
box here?
we can only see the actual image in the viewer. We're not
Okay.
seeing any
Not
interpretation.
letting you see the box, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that's too bad. I don't know how to make that happen. All right, so so when we look at this view, we're going to make some comments, you know, make a general statement.
Carol, you can go to share your whole desktop, and if you share your desktop, then we'll be able to see all that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you just stop share, and at the bottom usually
share
stop
desktop,
and then you're going to find
okay.
desktop. Yeah.
Screen 2. Okay, there we go.
There we go. By the way, just so you all know, Dr. Carol and I were talking about how she's been seeing quite a few images that aren't colored properly. So I just put together a really nice video on color, and it is now in the back members area of the IAMT website, Coloring with Kristin. So go look at it, and it's about 15 minutes long. So enjoy.
Oh yeah, please do that. See, everybody gets worried about what's going on down here, and you get all this heat and all that. I don't care what's not on the breast. I care what's on the breast. Okay, when I'm doing breast. So now, I'm going to show you. This is can you see this little square now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm working with. So I'm going to expand this, and so I have options. This is why we can be. Let me see how we can, be doing it the same. So where am I? Right breast. Okay, so this one is a follow-up. So I have the opportunity to say whether there's an increase or a decrease. I'm just going to say if there's, so all I have to do is click it. And then it says up here, improvement in thermal patterns are observed in the follow-up study compared to the previous evaluation. So it makes it easy for the interpreter. So it kind of builds a report for us, and then we can go back and personalize it. You see, so we make it so easy. Back in the day, what they had to do was each interpreter had like a Word document that had, templates in it. It was a nightmare, and everybody had their own. So I said, okay, all right. So this has probably been my most ambitious project, is our interpretations. So then, so this is how we do that. So then we take this one happens to be in Dutch, but what we do is we say, I'll do the interpretation, and I choose the breast findings, and then here's my report. And in the report, I copy and paste this into Physicians Insight, you see? So what's in this report, this is what I need you to know. Oh, I'm sorry, this is in another language, but whatever you type is in, let me see, let me do something here.
Do you automatically translate it into Dutch when you interpret?
I can do a Dutch interpretation because we have the software in Dutch. So even when I click the box, it gives me a Dutch interpretation instead of the English, you see? So that's, I have it in several languages. I have it in Italian too. And we're looking at, and Spanish. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm gonna, here's one in English. Okay, so I wanna show you this is, okay, I'm gonna add the interpretation. All right, so now when I go, I'm gonna choose something here. And then I'll do over here. So this is where we do we do the majority of the interpretation in the oblique views. Okay, so I'm gonna go, they have a hypothermic area in the lower outer breast. This is very well developed. Really? And then I can go over here, and then I can say there is a, scattered, there's an isolated pattern here, or I can say it's at 3 o'clock or whatever. And then I go down here to the significant findings, which are the ones we're concerned about. And let's put this. Okay, so then I go to my breast findings, and here's my report. Okay, so now what is the history is the breast concerns is what you typed in. And I'm going to copy and paste that. That's why I want you to be very careful about your language and your spelling and everything like that, because I don't want to have to do all that too. So then, and then the history comes from those questions that you answered, okay, on the questionnaire. So what the software does is it takes those check marks and makes it a narrative. Okay, so now, so what I do is, as I'm doing the interpretation on the left, on the right, I'm looking at the history. So I can be giving more attention to what the client is concerned about. So what I don't want you to do is what I do want you to do is to put the history that's relevant to the area. Don't put stuff in there about their abdomen and the breast part, because now I have to do some extra work. Okay, so if the quicker the thermographer, the interpreter can work, the quicker you get your reports back. Okay, that's
Carol, can you show us the super cool temperature differential palette that you use? The green.
Oh, yes. Okay, so when we're doing interpretations, let me go to this one because it's a little more interesting.
Watch this, guys. Watch this
Okay, so
one.
this is a really awesome new palette that we came up with here. So the way that it's arranged is, it took us a while to wrap our heads around it. But when you see a red spot like we see right here, and you go over here to this side and there's no red spot, I know that this is now 1.5 degrees more than that. This is now a significant factor. So I don't have to go measuring each area. So before, we used to have to go here and do this, and then do another one over here, and then look at the numbers. I don't have to do that anymore. I could just look. Okay.
Wow.
But I can do that if I want to. Okay?
That's powerful.
It is. It's really, really, really. It saves us so much time and accuracy. And so
if
that's kind of a
go ahead.
Yeah. So that's kind of a look at how developed we are and how we try to be, what's the word I want? Consistent. Okay.
And how do you train the new interpreting physician? I mean, they're an MD. You have a pretty high bar that you set for your interpreting physicians, and then you're training them. And what does that process look like?
Oh man, it's a huge process, because I have to teach them about all the regions of the body. I have to teach them what patterns are important, which patterns are not important, which ones we expect, which ones we don't expect, what they could mean, and all of that. Okay, so that I had to do that in stages, so I had I was online with them, like a Zoom or GoToMeeting, and to teach them all this. And then I had to teach them how to use the software. And then I had to overread them for a month or so. And so it was a huge burden of love on me to get these interpreters trained. Some patterns are stable, but here's the challenge that we have is sometimes we recommend further evaluation and they don't do it. And so we don't know if we're afraid to let it go and just say, well, this must be normal for this person, if we're really, really worried about this pattern, because we know which ones are the most worrisome ones. Okay. And if the patient or the client would just go, even have a physical exam, anything, just so that somebody besides us is telling them this needs to be looked at. Am I answering the question right?
I always recommend an ultrasound. So
yeah, if they can get an ultrasound, but at very minimum, a physical examination. If a
Right.
doctor can put his hands on it and say, I don't feel anything, that then puts the responsibility on them.
Right.
You've handed over, you saying, this looks suspicious, this looks, we never say suspicious, you know that. We say, this is a concern. And if your doctor does an examination and is not concerned about it, and then you put that in the follow-up report, then I've got something I can back off on the.
And you got away from the TH score, Carol. Can you explain to us why there's still a lot of interpreters out there that use the TH score? Why did Physicians Insight depart from that?
Does anybody know what the TH score is?
Yeah.
I have a rough idea.
All right, so TH is back in the day, and in the early years of this, you know, there was a lot of development in the early years before I ever got involved, and they came up with a score to say is TH1 is like our low level of concern. So we actually do follow the TH. And I use a lot of our significant factors for the majority of them are those that were developed in the TH system. Okay, but what they did was, instead of saying elevated level of concern, they called it a TH5. Now you're sort of diagnosing. And then the client begins to worry about their TH numbers, you see. And it was something you had to explain to them. So we made it more user-friendly, more client-friendly. And we say it's a low level of concern, it's a moderate level of concern, or it's an elevated, not a suspicious. Other reports use suspicious. We've not used that word forever. I hate that. So because we're not diagnosing anything. We're not looking for cancer. That is not our job. And you start doing TH5 and people are thinking they have cancer.
Mhm.
So that is why we don't use that. But it does follow the TH guidelines, because there was a lot of development, a lot of hard work in that. And we have found that it works for us. So
There's a lot of people still using the cold stress test too.
not many.
Yeah. No, in San Diego, because there's some old timers here.
Yeah, the old timers, yeah. So the old timers are, you know how it is. I've always done it this way, or this is the way that I like to do it.
What they know.
And so they do. But
What should thermographers say to a client who says, well, the last time I went in, they dipped my hands in ice cold water. This must be the right way to do it.
yeah, how did you like that?
Yeah, they question me, how come
How
you're not
much
doing
fun was
that?
that? Yeah, so
What can we say?
yeah, so that is a theory, okay? It's not a weights. The theory is, if there's a pattern on the skin and you put your hands in and the pattern goes away afterwards, so you have to do the study twice, okay? So you do the whole breath study, you have them put their hands in ice cold water with ice in it, okay, for 1 minute, which they don't like. Now you have to do the whole study over again, okay, the whole breast study, so we can see. And just because the pattern went away is not for sure. It depends on the person's, how their sympathetic system works. Okay, so it's not diagnostic, but it's kind of developed to be diagnostic, and we have to stay away from anything that looks like diagnosis. And not only that, I'm not looking for breast cancer. You know that. All of you know that, right? We are not looking for breast cancer. That's not our job.
Not our job.
The FDA doesn't want us to do it, and we don't want to do it. So that's
And what kind of relationship do you have with the FDA, Carol? A number of years back, I think you established a very good professional relationship with them. Can you, whatever you feel like telling us about that, but what's great is that you have respect now and you're following the rules, and you and all of your thermographers are squeaky clean. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it's a love-hate relationship. They're bullies. and they want you to do what they want you to do. And they, they were mean to me. And so I said, okay, fine. When the FDA says jump, I say how far?
Mhm.
I'm following the rules, and they're really not bad. And the fact that they don't want us to be diagnostic is a good thing for us. It takes that responsibility off of us. And all we're doing, we're offering possibilities. And what do we call it, Kristin? We're doing the anyway, discovery. We're doing this
health discovery.
Part of the discovery process,
Yeah.
because so anyway, that I'm glad that we are a class 1 device, which means, you know what else is a class 1 device? A Band-Aid.
What?
And a hospital bed and a crutch. These are all type 1 devices. And so they're supportive devices, not diagnostic ones. Okay. And I like it that that's what we are. So
What type is the diagnostic? 2, 3, 5? 3.
Okay.
And
you have to do clinical trials and all that kind of stuff. And then you're up for being sued. If somebody has that, let me tell you, the mammogram people, they have a budget for lawsuits, because they claim that they can diagnose, and if you miss that diagnosis, you're up to the lawsuit, buddy. So we're out of that.
And where do you see the future of thermography going? Let's just fast forward 50 years, when most of us on this call may be a little too old to continue to perform our duties.
Yeah, I'll be long
gone. Young whippersnappers doing to our thermographers.
Okay, so it's inflammation. Inflammation isn't self a disease. It is the basis of almost every disease all the chronic diseases. So I think that and there's no doubt, it's about the inflammation, and science is becoming more and more aware of that, and the immune system. And all this is becoming more relevant nowadays with our environment, our healthcare environment. So there's nothing. It has to be a temperature sensitive device to be able to offer that information. It's priceless. I think we're a little before our time. But we need to be aware that we're the future. I believe that.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to tell you that we need to finish this up here pretty soon. But I wanted to tell you that tonight is interesting, because I'm sitting at my desk. Actually, I'm sitting at a table, and the movers are coming tomorrow, and we are moving to home, and right behind me is a picture of my new office, and it's a little house that we had on our property, and my mom lived there when she lived with us, and we're adding on. You see the structure of it on this side over here. This is all going to be glass, and they're going to install the glass next week, and my office is going to be right in there. It's like a garden office.
Oh my God.
So,
Nice.
What?
So when
Aw.
I turn off my computer tonight, the next time I turn it on, I'm going to be in there.
Oh, that's wonderful, Carol.
You've earned it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm, for the first time, I have
That's
worked.
exciting.
I have worked for you guys like you wouldn't believe for the last 10 years. And
I believe it.
I used to come home from work. I'd work all day till 12 hours. I go home, eat dinner, and then start working until late at night on the manual, that 100-page manual. I worked my butt off on that thing, and I did. And that's the way I worked. And so finally, after about 7 years, I said, I'm done. I dismantled my office inside my house, and I stopped working at night. And And now I'm cooking. Oh my gosh.
What?
Can you imagine when you come home at 9 o'clock at night? You
You don't feel like cooking.
You don't cook anything.
You don't feel like cooking.
Yeah. And so now I'm cooking. I'm actually acting like I have a life. So
What a
it's so
concept.
cool. And so I'm doing interpretations too. I do some, and I enjoy doing that. And the good news is, as I do it, I keep improving it because I see what we're dealing with out there, and I get the feedback, and so I stay in touch with I only do interpretations for about 4 people, and but they, they're teaching me too. So I am. And
Awesome.
Kristin is doing the training, and we're doing it online now. And Edie is working at home. She came over and had lunch with me today for the last time in our office. And she said, she's got she was struggling with it, but now she's got her routine down. She gets the job done we need her to do. She takes care of her baby. It's like, yeah,
That's awesome. You all deserve it. Really. Thank you so much for all your hard work. It means so much. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, you all are doing such a great job, and considering everything, we only lost 50% of our business last year, which I thought it was going to be worse. So you did bounce back.
That's
It got
awesome.
really, really quiet there, like in May, April and May.
Yeah.
But everybody bounced back, and we're rocking and rolling again. So
That's great. So you're completely giving up the office then?
yeah,
Good.
yeah, we're in a little house. That's what we're going to
It's a
be.
lot of overhead. Yeah, that's awesome.
And we
Yeah.
found
Awesome,
that
awesome.
the Zoom training, the first, Carol said, you think we could do a training over Zoom? I'm like, well, if they can share their screen with me and we can look at the software and we can watch them imaging in real time, I think we can do it. And I don't know, we
Excellent.
probably had 5 or 6 trainings now
Yeah,
over Zoom.
good.
We have not lost any quality of instruction.
Yeah, they're doing really well. Yeah, they have to send in their now when they do their test, their final test. Then I brutally critique it,
Yeah.
and they've been doing really good.
Well, that's the amazing silver lining of this whole COVID thing, is it just made us all figure out other ways than getting together in person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the imaging has to be done that way, but I've figured my way around that. So.
Have you? How have you figured your way around doing imaging in person?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm still doing it in person, but talking about, wearing masks, and I have my back to
right.
the patient the whole time. And,
Yeah.
so I create a safe environment for them, but.
Well,
Yes, and our stand, where you can do privacy imaging, also lets you be, social
Separated.
distance and everything.
Yeah. Just get a little extension cord. You can be
Yeah.
2 feet
Can
away.
I ask Carol a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
What do you think about the future? I've been following the last year with AI coming into thermography.
That's a really great question. And, they've been trying to develop that for a long time, because let me tell you what, it is hard work training doctors. Okay. And all that goes with that. Okay. And so everybody's wanted a system that does it for you, does it automatically. And there actually were some systems like that back, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years ago. And
You're terrible.
and well, yeah, and the doctors that were using them hated them. It seemed like such a great idea. They want eyes on their images, and they want to hear from somebody who knows what they're talking about. I imagine that eventually it'll come to that, but we're not ready for it yet. I mean, not us. The patients and the referring physicians are not ready for that.
True.
So I think I'd like it, it'd be great if it could be accurate and personalized and everything, but I don't know. I think we're not there yet. So I don't,
Mhm.
that's my opinion about that, but that's a good question because
Any other questions for Dr. Carroll before we wrap up? Everybody's had excellent questions. Candace.
A quick question that something you mentioned at the very beginning, the anti-inflammatory, the Resolve Internal Fire. I went on and I found it on the website, but my little spot where it says store, it doesn't come up under there. And so I'm wondering, am I looking in the wrong place? Where do I find that on sale?
Get with me offline. It should be there, but maybe our web guy has already taken it down and started putting up the new prices, because we're going to have these sale prices for you. Watch for that tomorrow morning.
Okay, you're going to send an email tomorrow morning?
I'm sorry?
Did you say you're going to send an email tomorrow morning?
Yes, we are, because here's the new prices, and I sent them to him and asked him if he could put them up. And so we only had sold the 12 bottles, and now we're offering a half case as well, so you can try it out. Because they're going to sell the 6 bottles like that. But it's a nice kind of way to try it out. So normally the retail price is $28.50 per bottle. So that's what you can sell it for to your clients. And then we're selling it to you through the IAMT for on a case $15.58 per bottle.
Okay.
So stock up and save.
You know, I have a story here. One of my my friends he had a golden retriever, and so the dog was lame and couldn't walk, and so he started giving them Resolve Internal Fire, right? Put it in his food, and about 3 days later, that dog was up and walking.
Wow.
We were so excited.
It said 3 days.
It's 3 days. 3
Wow.
days. So it's very, very good for not just inflammation, but for joint pain and irritable bowel and those kind of things. People were taking it for one thing and another thing clears up. I'm always, I just get great reviews on that stuff. I don't know. That must have been, what do you call that when the universe
Conspires in your favor.
Gift.
It must have been
My
my husband buys a case from me. He actually pays. He buys a case of Resolve Internal Fire from me because he doesn't want to be without it. He takes it every day.
When someone walked in the door, when I worked for you, when someone would walk in the door to come to our tiny little pharmacy and buy something, I would say at least 50% of the time it was for Resolve Internal Fire.
Yeah.
And you had dozens and dozens of things on your shelves, but Resolve Internal Fire was definitely.
That's my number one. When I see a lot of inflammation, especially those spots that you see all over the chest and everything,
mottling.
Resolve Internal Fire is my go-to first thing. Okay.
Here's the thing that I'm always concerned about, Carol, is acting like a practitioner, like prescribing. So when you're selling a product other than thermography, then it takes us out of the realm of just being a technician.
Yeah.
Good question. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, it is a supplement, you see. So it's not it's like like a supplement, like vitamin C or something like that. They're just herbs. So they, you just give them the information. You just give them the information and say if they're interested, you can get it for them or whatever you want.
And you wait for the report to come back as well.
Yeah.
Because if you wait for the report to come back and it says inflammation, and they say, well, do you have any products for inflammation? You're allowed to talk about the products that you have for inflammation. So if you want, you'll get extra safe if you wait for the report to come back. Am I right?
And it doesn't say on it, it's called Resolve Internal Fire. So it doesn't say that it's an anti-inflammatory on the bottle or anything like that. Very careful.
And it's a COX-2 inhibitor, am I right?
COX-2, yeah. So COX-2 is a COX-2 inhibitor is most NSAIDs are like COX-2 and COX-1 inhibitors. And the COX-1 inhibitor is what inhibits the lining of the stomach. And so this one is not a COX-1 inhibitor. It's only a COX-2 inhibitor.
And that's important. And it's a good thing.
And to take it with green tea.
Yep.
Oh.
I just highlighted that for y'all. Just drink it with green tea and you'll, I didn't realize
Wow,
eightfold the benefits, but I knew that with turmeric.
Would green tea extract work as well?
Yeah.
Because I have green tea extract.
Yeah.
I could make it easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is COX-1 and COX-2? What does that mean? I've not heard of that.
I don't know. I know that is the way that the NSAIDs function by inhibiting COX-1 and COX-2. But the COX-1, it's a protein, I believe.
It's a prostaglandin. Yeah, and it's a nasty little thing. It is indicative of, you'll see it go up when people have pain, when they have fever, when they have, so the function of COX-1, as I understand it, they're prostaglandins, they're enzymes, they produce and promote inflammation and pain and fever. So when you can inhibit those with herbs and such, then you can reduce the production of the COX-1 and COX-2, which causes pain, fever, joint pain, inflammation, etc. So you're actually trying to inhibit the COX-1 and the COX-2. But a COX-2 inhibitor is more important. That's how I remember it.
Okay.
So
People like it, and it tastes good too. Sometimes herbs are nasty. No, this is, even the guy that makes it, makes the formula for me. He said he takes it because sometimes herbal formulas are nasty.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've had them. But I love licorice and citrus, and that looks
it's a very nice formula. I just love it. It's very balanced, and it was brilliant.
Okay. I'm gonna buy some.
oh wow, let's see. We got a sale.
All right.
I'm gonna wait for the special though.
Hey guys, one more thing before we go. We just want to roll something out here for the first time, and that's our CCT levels. Many of you have gotten your CCT when you attended one of our IAMT conferences, but now we're making CCT available to you for online Zoom training. We're going to be sending this out. This is a sneak peek. Some things may change, but the very first level is going to be a really good review of everything you learned in training. And we're also going to be teaching anatomy of the human body for people who are not medical professionals. All kinds of good stuff in number one. And then in number two, the Infrospection Institute is actually putting together a course for medical thermographers. So it's not like you have to learn about why you could image pipes and roofs and stuff. This is just kind of the concept. What is your camera doing and how is it doing it? And what is the infrared spectrum after all? And it's going to be a really great course that comes to us from the Infrospection Institute. And we're talking also in CCT3 about the business of thermography. And then CCT4 is imaging of CRPS and RSD. And this is a very powerful imaging because you can help people in personal injury cases. This is also an extremely profitable area of your business if you do it right. So we're teaching people about that and CRPS, when people go to court for personal injury cases, thermography is admissible in court. And so that's a really powerful thing that we can do to serve people who are suffering from those diseases. So just want to roll that out, watch for it. Our very first CCT level is coming soon, and we're going to take about 12 people, and we're going to get you your CCT. So hope you can get excited about that and watch for it to come in like a MailChimp, watch our Facebook. Is everybody part of our texting program? If
Yes,
not,
I am.
If not, text IAMT to 474747, and we will send you a text once or twice a month, just reminders and stuff. So not pounding on you, just a couple of reminders, because that's the fastest way to get information to people is usually through text. So go like, comment, and share our Facebook too. So Dr. Carol, thank you so much. We love you. We are indebted to you for the amazing contributions you've made to medical thermography, to interpretation, to the way we image, to the way we take history. And you are definitely influencing the future. And I know 50 years from now, when those whippersnappers are these fancy thermographers with their high quality equipment, that
and their AI interpretations.
Their AI, oh, well, okay. I know that your name will still be a part of the conversation, and we appreciate the legacy that you're leaving for all of us and for generations of thermographers to come.
Thank you, Kristin. That's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming
Thank you,
tonight.
Carol.
We're going to put this on our YouTube channel. We're going to send the link out in a MailChimp. It'll be on Facebook so y'all can watch it again, share it with others.
Before we go, I'd like to ask Missy.
Yes.
So what do you think after what you heard?
I've learned quite a bit. I enjoyed meeting Kristin and learning more. I had a small amount of knowledge before I came to her. I do think that the presentation tonight wasn't especially meant for me. However, I'm thankful that I was allowed to stay to learn.
Yeah.
I am curious about what will happen with the future. Are there up and coming people?
I was very curious to see what somebody who's looking at us from the outside was think about, what you were hearing. So thank you for your comment.
You're
Misty,
welcome.
by the way, you don't know this, but you and your husband, when you came and did those 2 full bodies with me,
Yes.
you were the very last images that I did before I sold my business.
Wow.
Do you remember that? I don't know if I told you that day, but after I imaged you guys, it was like, oh, what a nice way to end.
Well, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you.
Great. Glad you could be with us, and everybody else
Thank
too. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Okay, and I appreciate
Thank you.
all of you.
We love you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Good luck
Thanks,
in your new
Carol.
office, Dr. Carol.
Really feel supported.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Thanks for
home and
thanks for having this meeting, you guys. It's really awesome that you keep doing this. It
You
means a
bet.
lot. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
good night.
everybody.
Love you, Carol. Love you, Kristin. Thanks.
See y'all too.